Cold showers, cold exposure, none of that sounded fun to me. But I did 6 weeks of Wim Hof cold showers and his breathing methods, and I actually started to look forward to it. Welcome to the Enhance Your Health podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Michelle Green, and together we are going to go on a journey to creating more energy and vitality so that you can have the life of your dreams. You will learn how to enhance your health, physical and mental, through plant-based nutrition, lifestyle changes, creating new habits, fitness, health tips, and mindset, along with special guest episodes from experts around the world. Become the master of your health and life. Join us each week for tips and action steps so that you can unlock your potential. It's time to enhance your health. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Enhance Your Health podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Michelle Green. We're going to get started with our quote of the week. This week's quote is by Wim Hof himself, who has popularized the idea of cold exposure and his breathing techniques and his meditation techniques, and combining those three things to be able to actually have an impact on your nervous system instead of letting your nervous system control you. So the quote of the week this week is, "The purpose of being is really making the soul ascend, to expand consciousness. That's our true purpose. And if we follow that path, then there is no tension. You just live like a kid, open. It's all simple. It's beautiful and the energy is clean. We are children of Mother Nature." This is a great quote and really explains his methods, because he talks about and teaches getting back in touch with nature, and one of the ways he does that is through cold exposure. And today we're going to talk about cold exposure, the benefits, the studies about it, and how you can start off. I know it sounds crazy, may not sound fun, but you actually will start to enjoy it. I actually started to look forward to my cold showers every night. It made so much sense how it can make changes, positive changes in your immune system, your nervous system, your vascular system, so many other systems in your body. So I'm really excited to share this with you today, and hopefully it makes a difference in your life as much as it did for me. I think it's great, and we're going to talk and dive deep into cold exposure. Before we go on, let's talk a little bit about Wim Hof. Wim Hof is who popularized this. He is best well known for being the guy in shorts climbing Mount Everest, and he set many world records. He's amazing, and he defies the ideas that we have about human limits. He is constantly defying the limits that we have originally placed. He's changing science textbooks, changing the way we think about health. He is a true pioneer in getting back to nature, and using what we have to be able to enhance our bodies and enhance our health. He's also done things like 2-hour ice baths and many other amazing things that we didn't think humans were capable of. There's many studies on his work. There's many studies going on right now still about his work. I decided to take his course. It was about a year and a half ago, and he does these online courses. So I decided I'm going to learn what all this is about. So I took his course, which involves not just cold exposure, such as cold showers and ice cold water and things like that, but also meditation and a breathing technique that he teaches. We're going to focus on the cold exposure today. I'll leave him to teach the breathing method to you. But the cold exposure, I noticed I did that every day. I started off with showering normally, ending it with 30 seconds of cold water, and I slowly and gradually built up. And I noticed a lot of changes. When I took this course, I saw so many benefits, and I continue to take cold showers today because the benefits are undeniable. Before you say, "Oh my gosh, this is so crazy, I hate the cold," trust me, I did too. I do not like the cold, but you actually start to get used to it. Your body adapts, and it helps your body to adapt more easily. It targets the nervous system, forcing it to adapt to these cold temperatures. And in life, when you're not just in the cold, your body's able to adapt so much better than it was before you start taking these cold showers. As soon as I get out of that cold shower, I feel energized. I feel like I could focus more. And over time, I noticed that my willpower and my strength started to increase as well. I even lost 6 pounds, and I'll explain why that would be in just a moment. I felt better than ever. My immune system felt great, and when I first started this, I felt great, and I still do. I still love it. The autonomic nervous system is thought to be automatic. It just runs automatically. And we've talked about this in other episodes. It controls your heart rate, controls your lungs, all of your organs. And it was once thought to believe that we couldn't actually control this part of the nervous system. It controlled us. Wim Hof is proving that wrong and showing in studies that through these different techniques, you can actually impact your autonomic nervous system. So it might not be so automatic after all. And when you're exposed to the cold, what happens is it is impacting the nervous system. It is bringing up that tone. It's making it more active. It's making it more adaptive. And so your immune system actually strengthens because of that. The immune system is very closely related to the autonomic nerve system because it's one of those things that happens automatically. When you are in the cold, it spikes adrenaline for that short time, and then your body is adapting to that cold. Your immune system strengthens and it brings down inflammation within the body. And they've done studies on this. There was a study done pretty recently where there were a group of people who were trained in Wim Hof's methods, including cold exposure, including meditation, and his breathing techniques. And they were trained for 10 days straight. That was one group. Then there was a second group that was not trained at all in any of his methods and any of his work. They took these two groups and they actually injected them with what's called an endotoxin. It's like a dead version of the bacteria, of E. coli in this case. They injected them with E. coli. And they looked at how the bodies reacted to see if there would be differences in the two groups. The first group that was trained actually had extraordinary differences over the group that was not trained. So the group that had the cold exposure and did these techniques, they saw major differences in these people. Some of the changes they saw was that their inflammatory markers were much different than the people who were not trained. If some people got symptoms at all, it wouldn't last as long. Their fever would go down, the chills and the aches and the pains and the normal flu symptoms lasted a lot less than the people that were not trained in these methods. This study was amazing, and it showed that inflammation can actually go down from these techniques. The study also suggests and talks about how these methods may be really beneficial for people with autoimmune disorders, because inflammation is a huge factor in autoimmune diseases. Inflammation is the root cause of many diseases and illnesses, puts stress on the body, and just the fact that these methods can bring down inflammation is already a huge plus. I talked about how when I took these cold showers daily, that at first, the first 6 weeks that I did it, I actually lost 6 pounds, and I'll explain why that would be. So when you think of fat or fat cells within the body, you're probably thinking of white fat cells. Those are the most common fat cells, and they actually work just like endocrine organs. Each cell is its own endocrine organ releasing hormones, things like leptin, adenopectin, and resistin. And when you have an accumulation of white fat cells, it increases your chances of metabolic syndrome and diabetes. Now there's a second type of fat. And this second type of fat is a lean fat and a healthy fat. And it was once believed that this second type of fat was only found in babies and animals. It's called brown fat. And it was once believed that when you were a baby, you had an ample amount of brown fat. The purpose of brown fat is to keep one warm. And as you get older, you start to lose this brown fat. But studies are now showing with cold exposure, and exercise helps as well, but especially with cold exposure, that you can actually stimulate growth of brown fat cells. Now, why would you want brown fat cells? I still haven't told you why it's good. So brown fat cells is very different than the unhealthy, most commonly thought about white fat cells. Brown fat cells actually burn more calories. They use up white fat cells to burn energy. Brown fat cells create more energy within the body. And they also release a different set of hormones which take out fat from the blood, so cholesterol, or people who have high fat within their blood, and it decreases the chance of diabetes type 2 because it actually helps to regulate blood sugar. How amazing is that? Brown fat is a much more leaner type of fat. It's not the type that accumulates like white fat, and you can actually stimulate the growth of these brown fat cells through cold exposure. Exercise helps too, and if you're doing both, that's going to really stimulate those brown fat cells to be more in abundance, which are actually healthy and good for you. So it helps to also fight obesity and metabolic disorder because it's actually using those white fat cells to burn their energy, and you're burning more calories. Some studies even show that the more brown fat you have, the least likely you are to be obese or have health effects from obesity. So this is why I lost 6 pounds. I didn't even change anything. I got on the scale and I was shocked at how much weight I had lost in those 6 weeks that I took those cold showers. Now stress was another thing that I saw a huge difference on. My stress levels went down and I felt calm and I felt relaxed and I felt focused, and there's a reason for this. So when you are in cold, your body is actually sending out adrenaline and your body is adapting to this stress. So controlled adrenaline is not necessarily a bad thing. Adrenaline that's out of control and your body's not able to cope or handle, that's when things can get out of hand. In situations such as cold exposure is different, and the research is showing that your body is able to adapt at a higher level more efficiently and be able to handle stress on a day-to-day basis. They're actually doing a study right now at the University of California of San Francisco on cold exposure and Wim Hof's methods, along with mental health and the relationship between those two. And as we learned a couple weeks ago in the vagus nerve episode, it also stimulates your vagus nerve, making your vagus nerve stronger. That's that nerve that controls your rest and digest, allowing you to relax and be in a peaceful state. So there are a lot of benefits to this. Another benefit is the vascular system. Vascular system benefits greatly when it's in the cold because, again, it has to adapt to this extreme temperature. What happens when the cold hits the body is it's forced to work the little muscles that control your arteries and adapt to the cold, and over time this can actually retrain your vascular system to be more adaptive as well. According to Wim Hoff in his website, it can also lower your blood pressure and your heart rate, which makes a lot of sense. Your body's able to adapt. It's almost like a workout for your heart, for your vascular system. Another benefit is pain relief. So people who have arthritis or people who have chronic pain, cold can really help, not only because it brings down inflammation, but in a study done at Wayne State University in 2018, they took a functional MRI of the brain of someone who is exposed to cold. And they looked at this and found that a part of the brain called the periaqueductal gray was stimulated. That part of the brain is associated with pain suppression, with overall well-being, and with self-reflection. So it's changing so many systems in your body. Your body's forced to adapt, your body changes, and different parts of your brain even that brings down pain and brings up well-being are being stimulated. How cool is that? One of the things that I noticed personally, and I'm sure other people have too, is my willpower went up. And I especially noticed this in the first 6 to 8 weeks that I was practicing this. My willpower went up in a great amount. Willpower is like a muscle, and I hated the cold. Again, I grew up in Southern California where it was warm. I recently moved to Colorado where it's very cold, and I did not like the cold at all. Very cold intolerant. You can ask some of my coworkers. Sometimes I'd be sitting in my office with an actual desk space heater blowing in my face to keep me warm because I love the heat so much. So when I found out I was going to be taking cold showers in this course, I thought of it as literal torture. I did not want to take cold showers, but you know what? I did it anyway. And I started off with just 30 seconds. And I remember that first time that I took a normal shower and I ended it with 30 seconds cold water. I remember that first time so vividly and clearly. It felt like torture. I did not like it. But you know what? I kept doing it every day because when I got out of the shower, I felt so good. And it got easier and easier and easier. And a week went by and I was able to do it no problem. I upped it to a minute at the end of my showers, cold water. And I was able to do that fine. Now I'm able to do 5, 6, 7 minutes of cold water, feel fine, feel great afterwards, and really feel the benefits. So my willpower went up. And I noticed this spill into other areas of my life. When something hard came up, I would tell myself, you know what, just like that cold shower that you do every day, keep going through it. Make it through it. There's always an end, and you can do this. It's funny how that happened, but willpower is like a muscle. You have to work it out. Meditation is another great way to build your willpower, but I saw a huge change in my mental health and my ability to follow through with things that are hard. So how can you start doing this? What is something you can start today that you can start practicing this cold exposure for yourself, start getting the benefits? You can start reaping the benefits from cold exposure tonight if you want. And that brings us into our challenge of the week. Guess what the challenge of the week is? You guessed it, cold showers. So start off with a normal shower at your normal temperature and end it with just 30 seconds cold. Put it on the coldest setting and you're going to breathe. You're just going to breathe and try to keep yourself calm. The first time it might be a little hard, but you're going to try to just keep your body calm. Try not to shiver. It might happen and that's fine, but your body's going to continuously adapt if you do this every day, and it will get easier. Like I said, that first time, it's a struggle. I did not want to stay in that shower, okay? I wanted to get out of there, put a towel on, put 2 more blankets on, and then maybe another even bigger blanket around me. Just push yourself. Do it. You can do it. I know you can. I like to put like fun, exciting music on. It just helps me get through it and be in a really good mindset while I'm in it. And you can do that as well. And of course, before trying any new health protocol, especially if you have any pre-existing conditions, check with your doctor. Write on your social medias, post it on your social medias. Let me know how it goes. #EYH challenge so that I can see your experiences. Or you can even tag me at Dr. Michelle Green on Instagram or Facebook or even Twitter. I really look forward to seeing how this helps you, seeing what your experiences are like with it. If you wanted to start today and with 30 seconds cold shower, you can also check out Wim Hof's website at wimhofmethods.com. The course I took was the fundamentals course. You get a new lesson each week, and it teaches you really amazing skills to have to reset your nervous system. At least go check out his website where there's a lot of research and articles and practical things you can do. He also has an app that you can check out, and it has a lot of great resources on there as well. Also, exciting news, the clinic is now open, the Enhance Clinic. What this means is that you can become a member where you can have one-on-one appointments with myself to optimize your health through nutrition or supplements. You'll become part of my laboratory network if you need any labs, and we can work together to get your health in tip-top shape. Visit drmichellegreen.com to learn more information. And as Wim Hof says, the cold is my warm friend. It's time to enhance your health.